welcome to the Webcast for Friday, October 11th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows that the marine layer is quite shallow today, a bit surprising, and a break from our steady deepening trend the past several days. We also have a few high clouds streaming through once again, but with that shallower marine layer and a warm air mass still in place, expect plenty of sunshine in most areas today. A look at our 24-hour RH change reveals that we're still seeing gradual moistening trends in most inland portions of the area, but the big exception is the south coast, where many of the 1,000 to 2,500 foot elevation locations are much drier than this time yesterday, and we had some notably poor recoveries last night in a few areas, such as the Santa Ana Mountains. Taking a look at our weather pattern shows that we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence today in that big area of high pressure over the desert southwest that has kept so much of the western U.S. unusually hot this October. But as I play through the next couple days, you can see we've also got a weakening Pacific trough making its way into northern California by tomorrow that is going to have at least some minor impacts for us as well. Here's a look at today's forecast high temperatures. With that resilient high pressure and the shallow marine layer, we're going to put a stop to our cooling trend, at least over Southern California, though Central California may cool another couple degrees as that trough approaches. But it's still a very warm day overall, with valley highs well up into the upper 80s to mid-90s. You saw that dry start that we had across the south coast, and as a result, minimum humidity will remain fairly low today, mainly in the 12 to 25% range, but with lower values in the deserts and over much of the southern and eastern mountains. With that trough moving into our north, we'll start to see some increased wind across the area today as well. Westerly winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts to 40 miles per hour will surface across the wind-prone mountain ridges and desert passes from this afternoon through Saturday night. Putting this all together, I do want to show the 90th percentile hot, dry, windy index for today, and you can see it is pretty well lit up over areas like Riverside and San Diego counties and out into the deserts. So we are not out of the woods yet, especially in those areas. Keep your guard up today. Now, beyond today, we are going to see some real improvement. A deepening marine layer and the onshore flow will bring several degrees of cooling across the board this weekend. Take a look at these refreshing forecast highs by Sunday, near if not below normal for this time of year. In addition, minimum humidity will increase to 25 to 50% this weekend into next week away from the deserts. Recoveries will also become mostly good away from the deserts this weekend and beyond, and winds will become light from Sunday through Tuesday. Our next weather system to watch will be a stronger Pacific trough affecting the region mid-next week. This trough will likely bring several more degrees of cooling Wednesday and Thursday, as well as another round of gusty onshore winds. This trough will also bring a better chance of at least some scattered shower activity over much of the area, although early indications at this point are that precipitation amounts will be light at best. As that trough departs into the Great Basin and desert southwest, there are also some early indicators that we could have our first weak to moderate Santa Ana wind event of the season around next weekend. That remains highly uncertain at this time given how far out it is, but it's something we'll be keeping an eye on. We continue to see record-breaking conditions in terms of fuels. We are not just setting records, but really blowing them out of the water right now on some of our fuel and fire danger metrics for this time of year. Just take a look at where we are on 100-hour fuels for South Ops as a whole, and look how far below that record-low red line we are dropping for this time of year. However, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we will see dramatic improvement in fuel moistures and drops in ERC this weekend into next week as we cool down and RH comes up. This change will be even more abrupt in the 1 and 10-hour fuels, which will become much less receptive in many non-desert areas starting this weekend. But keep in mind, those fine fuels can also dry back out equally as fast, and live fuels also remain critically dry across most of the area. In the meantime, like I said, keep a real close eye on today. It is definitely an elevated fire weather day in Southern California, and can be the type of day that breeds complacency heading into a much friendlier stretch of weather. The shallower marine layer and breezy winds today, combined with those extremely dry fuels, likely renders today a greater risk day than the past few, especially over Southern California. Beyond today, large fire potential will become much lower this weekend through most of next week, as temperatures cool and RH becomes high in most areas. But fire season is not over, and regardless of whether or not the Santa Anas do come in next weekend specifically, the big picture weather pattern is now becoming more favorable for offshore winds heading into the back half of this month. So barring a much wetter than expected storm system next week, we could be right back in it before too long. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Saturday, October 12th.